G'day punters, excuse me if I don't look at you, just looking around and enjoying the scenery. This video is about my replacement of a Polaris head unit in the Landcruiser with a PVS 9.1 inch head unit, Chinese made. Anyhow, over the last 5 or so days I've been ginning around with this head unit. PVS is currently closed, they're not open until next week. This video won't drop until thereafter, so if I resolve a couple of problems, which I'll talk about shortly, I'll drop them down in the comments and you can have a read there whether or not I've overcome them or not. If you're swapping out a genuine Toyota head unit with a PVS head unit, it's just going to be slap bang straight in. But if you've got some external accessories like GPS, external mic, rear view mirror, the TBMS monitor that PVS sell, an external powered amp, or the OBDii sensor, then it gets a little bit trickier and it's not quite as straightforward as PVS YouTube video. It does take a little bit longer. It took us about 4 hours to run the wires for the reverse camera, for the GPS and for the external mic. Coincidentally today I had to unwire some of the reversing camera again to overcome some of the problems that I was having with inconsistencies with the material available on the PVS website. There's nothing whatsoever on the PVS website about wiring in the TBMS monitor. It's all guesswork. Mine still doesn't work. Inconsistencies, the reversing camera, there's two pages on the website. One suggests that a black wire is redundant. Another page says you should put it to ground. Here we are on the PVS website, full HD 1080p front rear HD reverse camera, 99 bucks. That's what I've installed. Now, what I want to talk about is the connection there. It says installation instructions. The reverse camera kit has two ends. One end has the RCA cable with a red cable. It's actually a wire. And this connects to the reverse cont back on the back of the head unit. So that what that really means is the red cable on the next to the RCA jack gets soldered to that back cable on a loom that plugs into the back of the head unit. The other end of the cable, which has the camera attached to it, has a red and black wire. They're in one piece, and they need to tap into the reverse lights. Then it goes on to say, red wire goes onto the red and black cable on the tail lights. Then it says black wire, not needed. Now that's exactly what I've done. I haven't used the black wire. I've gone back to the main menu now, and I've selected Landcruiser 70 Series 2008 onwards. I'm going to select head units. It'll load up. I've got the 9-inch one. It'll load up. Scroll down, and there's actually a wiring diagram there for the reverse camera, and it's actually got the black wire to ground. Curious. It's advertised as a 1080p camera. The only way that I can get it to operate on colour is at 720p. Back again, just a little tip. The reversing camera on these, they say in the PVS website that they're 1080. I haven't got this to work on 1080 yet, and this is what I'll do. I'll just show you. I press the home button. Oh no, I won't. Press the app button. Press settings. Press car settings, go to, there it is there, reverse settings, reversing camera. You'll see there I've got an AHD 720, 25 frames per second. Yesterday I went through and selected all the other options, apart from the, I think it was the TVI 720p 25 frames per second, which ended up being black and white. No other setting would work. There's discussion on 2 different pages about whether there's a 3G SIM card holder or a 4G. It's in this description. It talks about a 3G, right there, 3G SIM card slot. But if we scroll down into the specs, it talks about 4G. It's just a little bit of inconsistency in the description. it'd be nice to be consistent. There's no wiring diagram whatsoever for the head unit. There is a little diagram about the plug setup for the head unit on top of the head unit, but nowhere else. It's all been a little bit troublesome. It's working by and large pretty well at the moment. I've got the OBDii 2 sensor working. I've got the reversing camera working at 720p. Say the TBMS sensor, it's not working at all, so I get no external temperature reads, and I get no reads on the battery either. Gone back into the menu item again. I'm going to go into monitoring systems. I'm going to go to the TBMS, which is the unit that I've got that doesn't work. That's what the display is supposed to look like. I've had that up. That sits over. There's a micro version of that which will sit over your main screen if you let it do it that. What comes with it, that's the little black box, red and black wire, which I've hooked up with a little white plug on one end to the little box, and the red wire to the positive of my battery, and the black wire to the negative of my battery, and that black wire, the little 2-pin plug into the little unit, and the other end to an earth. That's what I've done. Open it back up again. We'll scroll down now and see what it says about it. No installation instructions. It does give a picture of the little black box. There it is there. It shows 2 little pins, little plug holes that you put in the, I assume that you put those cables into. What it doesn't show you, there's a whole bunch of other inlet ports as well. But anyhow, into the description. Monitor your battery and outside temperature with our state-of-the-art app and module on any Android OS head unit. Then it says, only suitable for Toyota Land Cruisers with factory outside temperature clock and GXL models. Now, why would it say that? And last night when I was lying in bed thinking about this, the only thing I could come up with is that the plug that went into the back of the digital clock maybe goes into this little black box. Well, I'm going to pull out the head unit and have a look and see if that's the case, because it doesn't say it there and it doesn't say it anywhere else. I don't know about the external mic yet, haven't tried that out. That's something else I'll look at, and put something in the comments if it does work or if it doesn't work and what I do to fix it. So it's been a bit trying. There's some tips in the video. If I haven't already said that, there's some tips in the video. You might think I'm a bit frustrated with the video. You're damn right, a bit frustrated. It's all been so much, it's driven me to drink. Hope you get something out of the video anyhow, and as I say, there'll be some stuff in the commentary for anything else that I haven't finished up in the video. Cheers. G'day punters. Christmas time. All the family around. Time to upgrade my head unit. I'm pulling out the Polaris head unit and putting in a PVS head unit. Why? The Polaris head unit is a bit dated now. It's probably got 3 problems with it that I'm not happy with. Well, 3 issues. The first issue is the screen size. When I'm using Hemo Explorer on it, it's just a bit too small, which is why I have the tablet anyhow. The second issue is I can't get any aftermarket or any original accessories for it anymore. And the third one is there's a problem when I'm using the TomTom street navigation and audio at the same time, like playing music. It just boosts the volume levels probably tenfold. So I've started pulling the Landcruiser apart now. I've got to get the original mic out. I've got to get the GPS out. Started removing the pillar pod. And you see I've started marking the cables and stuff. And we'll go from there. The surround for the head unit just clips in, so that's easy to pull out. And this has 4 screws in it. 2 threaded ones, you can see one there. And same the other side. And up the top here, the original screws are in there, just Phillips head. They were stripped out by somebody or other, so I've put larger screws in there. But anyhow, the new head unit doesn't need those. It just clips in to the existing clips there, there, same on the bottom, down here, down there, and same on the other side. It doesn't use those screws at all. An example of how vague, and I'm going to use that pretty loosely, that term, vague, the instructions are, this comes with the battery monitor thing. It says on the head unit, please visit, and it gives the link, and click on temp battery monitor system to download the app. So I have to do that in the head unit. This isn't connected to the internet. It does have a plug in here for a SIM card to be installed, and it does have a Wi-Fi connector as well. Again, I'm going to assume, because I don't know any better, because I can't find the information, that once this is all in and powered up, I can hook it up to my phone by Wi-Fi. I'm going to assume that, because I don't know. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stick a SIM card in there. You can see it says SIM, and see what happens. When I bought this Landcruiser, Toyota upsold me the head unit, the Polaris head unit, a local four-wheel drive shop on Enterprise Street, Bundaberg, and it's not opposite lock, by the way, it's just another one. They installed it. This is the GPS wire. You can see the shielding around it. There was some insulation tape around that, and you can see the inner cable that's just twisted, the copper cable, it's just twisted together. That's that bit right there, twisted together, not even soldered. And that had some insulation tape around it as well. Botched job, absolutely. I've got the old camera out. You can see there's a few zippy ties and stuff here. I probably need that spiral wrap or split tube for the fit. And we've got camera wiring on the ground, mic, 3M sticker to stick it on, the OBDii 2 sensor, and son-in-law's doing GPS into it. Well, we're back again. Got the GPS mounted, got the microphone mounted in the same spots they originally were. It's going to be a bit glare here, sorry about that. Microphone, GPS, got the rear camera mounted and wired. That's those three black wires there, they've come through. This is the PVS head unit. I've got the DIN cable in. It hooks up to the Landcruiser plugs. Just two plugs there. And this third one, God only knows why that's there for, but anyhow, that's all plugged up. It's my subwoofer from the back. That just goes into the subwoofer out on the RCA jacks. GPS plugged in, rear camera, and the mic, it's around here somewhere. The mic plugged in there. What else have I got plugged in? I've got the battery monitor that I got as an accessory, just mounted underneath the head unit. That's a USB plug, so I've plugged it into one of the USB outlets. There's two other USB outlets. That's these. There's one there and another one here. So what I am not using are the RCA jacks. I suppose if you've got a amplifier, they'll probably go into your amplifier. I don't have an amplifier, so they're redundant. These leads, they're for a camera, audio left and audio right. They're redundant. This back wire, I've got no idea what that's for, but it was hooked up in the old head unit, so I soldered that together. Amp common, I've got to solder that in as well. Front camera and infrared, they're redundant. Auxiliary right, auxiliary left, they're redundant. This was part of the electric aerial setup. these cables, or these plugs, redundant. The brake one, redundant. CCD 6 volt, redundant. Little red wire that comes with the lead for the camera, got absolutely no idea what it's for, but it's got an exposed wire, so I'll have to just put some heat shrink on that to cover it up. So you can see there's a lot of redundant stuff here, and the poor the plug assembly diagram on the top of the head unit is useful as far as putting in plugs, but it doesn't help us working out where wires go from there on and what the additional wires are for and whether or not they can be utilized in any way. I'm not an auto electrician, so we're just plugging along. I still haven't wired in the battery monitor cabling. You can see the plugs just there. I've got them dangling over the door at the moment. I'm going to have to run them down through the back of the dash, and there's a wiring loom grommet in the front of the firewall up under there, and I've got to run them through there, across the back of the engine bay, pain in the arse, and to the battery positive and negative on the main battery. That's a guess because I don't know. And the negative wire, that's not part of the positive and negative small loom. I'll just find an earth for that and see how we go. Well, I think I finished the wiring. See, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? I have to tidy that up somehow. I've got the battery monitor, say, mounted underneath the head unit. A couple of plugs in. There's about a metre or so extra wire I have to tidy up as well, if I don't destroy it before we get it going. The battery monitor wiring, I just used an existing split tube that I had there, ran it across the back of the firewall, came back down here, front of the battery, back up into the positive, negative, and there was an earth lead there as well. I'll show you where that went. That went straight into here, existing mount for the prior head unit. Picture on the display, aerial's going up. Windscreen's pretty filthy at the moment, so make sure the aerial's going down. Aerial's going down. Did something right. Turn it back on. I'm going to do something here. Play that, eh? I'll go have a look at the PVS YouTube video and see what I'm supposed to do from here. G'day punters, I've got the PVS head unit in. I'm still having some problems with it. Connecting up the OBDii to engine management system, some software. I put in the OBDii app, which is that little green one. I've now installed a torque one. That's it there. It's now working. You can see throttle position, coolant temperature, engine speed, no acceleration at the moment, and it's showing a little bit of vacuum because we're just sitting here at idle. You see a little blinking light up the top there, can't find GPS. If I go back to the adapter status, little button there, we'll say it's trying to connect to the Bluetooth GPS. Here we are having another look at the back of the head unit. This is the reversing camera. The loom that goes into the back of the head unit there has a camera in RCA jack, and the PVS camera kit comes with this wire, and there's a red wire out the back of the RCA as well. I've just soldered that red wire into the back marked cable on the back of the head unit. I did have in my old Polaris head unit this cable here, which is hooked up to the reverse lights. I had that originally hooked up to there, but the reverse camera wasn't working. A little bit more research. At the other end of the camera kit, there's a plug which joins the camera to the main sort of loom, if you can call it that, of the camera. And there's a red and black wire that comes out of there. I just taped that all up. To say a little bit of research, the red wire at the other end of the loom needs to gets tapped into the reverse wiring loom down at the back end of the car. Just doing the wiring for the reverse camera. Decided to use the trailer plug. The reverse pin is the third one from the left bottom. So third one from the left bottom, and you'll see the little red wire there. I've soldered that into the existing pin there. I've just checked the voltage in the pin. There's still over 12 volts there, and I've checked the reversing camera working, so that's another win. I've just turned the engine off. I'm in the passenger seat. I've just flipped it across into reverse, and I'll flick it back up into accessories. And we've got reverse camera now. The only things I got to check now are the mic up here. Make sure that that's working with the head unit, and make sure I can Bluetooth my phone. I know my missus can Bluetooth the phone to the head unit. There's the battery temperature sensor thing as well. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research into that because that's not working either. I did pull out another bit of extra loom. This wire was connected up to the part of the aerial loom, and it was these plugs were just loose. My son-in-law Will, who helped me install this thing, took the old Polaris head unit, and I think he needs this loom for the Polaris head unit, so I'll send that down to him. Another tip, this is the GPS receiver that I received with the head unit. After 5 days it's come off already. Too hot. How can that be? We're in Australia, really. You know, here at Bagara, Bundaberg, it's about 32 degrees, about 60% humidity at the moment. Came off. So I'm going to get myself some good old Australian-made 3M double-sided adhesive tape. Take that crappy black stuff off the back of the GPS receiver, clean up the window and put it back on. Good news. The OBDii system appears to be working. I've had it running today and I've set it up. I haven't got the engine running at the moment, but that's the little Torque Pro thing. I got to tell you that look on their website, look at that Torque Pro module that they sell for about $199 or $299. It says not supplied with software, and as you'll realise from previous video, I've talked about the OBDii software and this Torque Pro one, and I couldn't, well, I had them both loaded up, and I couldn't get this thing to work with both of them, so I got rid of the OBDii. The Torque Pro one, you got to pay for it. It's not free. If I have this system hooked up to internet, it just won't work because I haven't paid for it yet, which sucks. But anyhow, I think it's only about $4 or something. Real-time information. See the clock. Coolant temperature. I've just been driving it, just about 80. I'll start it up and show you what I've got loaded up in this dash. So when you start your car up, it goes right through the startup phase again. Go back to the home. Go back to the page where I've got the Torque Pro. Into that. Go back to my real-time monitoring. You can see the car, little flashy sign up there. It's still trying to communicate with the ECU. It takes just a little while. And you'll see there's no intake data, no revs, no throttle, no coolant data. GPS, well, we're not travelling anyhow. Fuel consumption, that's litres per hour. Nothing happening there at the moment. The clock's working. So it does take a little while to get the data from the ECU through the OBDii. There we are. First thing we see is coolant, then the intake stuff. So I've got the GPS speedo hooked up because I've got larger tyres. So I've tried using the PVS stuff and recalibrating it, but that was just a pain in the backside to try and get the factors right. So I've just got the GPS speedo up, which is cool. That's what I need. Coolant temperature, intake air temperature 39 degrees, intake manifold pressure 11.7 psi, engine speed 540 odd rpm, throttle opening position 23.9%. Down the bottom there you can see just 0.2, that's 0.2 litres per hour, just idling. Now you can set up a whole bunch of stuff to monitor. What I ideally wanted was oil pressure, but I couldn't find anything where I can pick up the oil pressure from. Now this dash and the torque rate actually comes with a bunch of pages, about 5 pages. I've just set it up in the center one. Don't know why you'd want 5 pages, but anyhow, some people probably would. Okay, head unit back out, that's the bottom. That's where I stuck the battery monitoring stuff. And you'll probably see I've got the 2 plugs in that side. There's a bit of weight on them at the moment. Now there's other places, there's another plug up the back there. Don't know if you can see that, there's probably 2 plugs there. There's 2 extra plugs in the back of this unit, plus one on the side. The one on the side you plug in the clock temperature plug. You'll see that very shortly. Well, there you go. That loom there was from the clock. That goes in next to the other 2 little plugs that I've stuck in. Hazard light's still sitting down at the side here. I'm going to see if that makes any difference to the operation of this unit. The other thing I've got to do is there's 2 other USB plugs that come out the back here, just auxiliary inputs. I've got to make sure they come through the dash. Yeah, those looms don't come out through the dash. I've got to make sure they go into the glove box. And before I stick this in, another tip. Wi-Fi antenna, there's a little black boot that usually goes on that. Yeah, well, it comes off pretty easily. It's in the back of the dash there somewhere. Now that temperature battery monitor system, I've put that black wire into, you can probably see a little bolt there. That's where the earth is. I've checked that continuity back to chassis, and there's a good earth there. Now that Wi-Fi aerial, because the shield's back and down there, I put some heat shrink on it. I'm going to stick that back on like that. There's that Wi-Fi aerial back on. That heat shrink won't come off. USB plugs. Gonna make sure they go in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy one of those PVS switch covers, which replaces that area there in the whole lot of switches. I don't have my hazard lights in there because I've got USB plugs in there, but once I got that switch panel, I'll replace those USB plugs. Well, actually I probably won't. I'll probably stick it in the switch panel, but I'll probably relocate those 2 USB plugs back into the switch panel, and I can put my hazard lights back in there. Just put these back in, and I'll have a couple of blanks. When you install this tyre battery monitoring system, they give you a little piece of paper with a website to go to, which is their website for downloads and software. That's where all the YouTube stuff is. Gives you an option of 3 versions of the software. I've got version 2.1, that's what I've downloaded. Oh, this is the display you get with the TBMS from PVS. It's not reading anything at all. No outside temperature. No outside temperature, nothing on the main battery. I don't have an auxiliary battery hooked up to this, so don't need ice warning. Who knows? And this is the little display that pops up. So there's nothing there. Now I've been on the website, and the website reviews say a lot of reviews say fantastic after sales support. They're closed at the moment, so that's why I'm having my gripe at the moment. So I'll give them a ring next week and see if I can work out what the heck's happening with this bloody TBMS, because it's just a pain in the backside at the moment to me. If I do manage to get it up and working, I'll put something in the comments about the video about that as well.